Hello everybody, welcome back to an edition of the Modicon M221 training. I'm your host, Leandro Man, and in this video what we're going to see is how we can read using the IO scanner the information from devices on mobile serial using a gateway. So in my case, I'm going to have a Modicon M221 that is connected to a switch, and that switch is connected to a panel server, which is one of the gateways that we have in Schneider Electric to connect to different things, okay, from the distribution world. So in my case, I have connected to this panel server a mobile serial device and two power tags and one humidity and temperature sensor. Okay, so I'm going to read information from that one. Okay, so let me just share the screen. So I'm going to connect to the M221 to retrieve what is in there. Okay, I don't want to start from scratch. Okay, so let's see what we have. Let's use the IO scanner. So I'm going to disconnect from here. This is the HIO. I'm going to delete this part. Okay, when you start a new project, okay, you have the Ethernet port if you're using a PLC with Ethernet port. Then you just need to go to mode of TCP, enable the IO scanner, so we have access to this table, and here you can define where to read information to. So in my case, I'm going to connect to a panel server, okay, and this panel server is connected to this device, this sensor, and on this sensor I can read this information. Okay, so I'm going to read that information. So you can see something important here is that if I'm not wrong, this panel server communicates through Zigbee to this device, okay, but it can also communicate to other devices like this one, okay, is any other serial device that is temperature and humidity sensor connected to serial over here, and this has the address 243, so we can use this one or the other one. So it doesn't matter. What is important to know are the registers that we need to read from that device. So if we follow to the power tower distribution part of the panel servers, then we just need to open this document. Okay, here we just need to find the reference of the device that we're going to communicate to. My case is this one, ZVRTG1. So we just need to click over here and just go directly to the page with information. So I will need to read the battery, temperature sensor, temperature value, humidity. Okay, so we have all these registers. Something very important here is that in this particular case, they are not words, okay, they are real values, okay, 32 bits. So we need to do some kind of tricks over here in order to get the information. Okay, let me just get the other information for the other device. Okay, so I believe I found it. So this is the information that I need to read from the device. Here you can see there are words, which is fine. Okay, we can read this information. We can use both of them. Okay, so I can show you this one to directly connect to read the words. It's going to be the easiest. And then the tricks that we need to do in order to read real values. Okay, so let's have a look now on the M221. So the IP address that we need to use is the one on the panel server, which is 192.168.70. Just need to add this. This is going to be the TN1SH, which is a sensor. In each request there is nothing at all, but if we need to set something, okay, we need to change the unit ID and the channel ID, okay, to the slave address that we have the mobile serial. Okay, so in this case it's going to be 243, which is the default 243. And here in the channels we just need to read the information. Okay, So values, just need to read. So I'm going to read multiples words. Offset, I believe it's 1. Length is going to be we can read 11 registers. Okay, 11. Okay, then we can send this to the controller. Okay, and then see what happens. I already explained this, how to make the troubleshooting and everything when we use the IO scanner. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to explain that again just to show you how to access to different devices when you use a gateway. Okay, because right now we're using ModTCP in order to access to a gateway that we have or we collect information from the ModSphere devices. Okay, done. So now that we have that working, or we think that it's working, we can go to Tools, Network Objects, Import Registers, and here we can see this, the values. We should be able to assign something here, okay, just to make sure, and then you use that in your program. Let me just create a new animation table. This one's going to be TM1SH. We just need to use IWN 300 percentage IWN 300 11. There we go. You can see here and read information. This is the address. So the address, and then I have a few things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is going to be the temperature and humidity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe are the limits, the offset. Let me just go back here. Offset 7, 8 is the real value. So this is information, which is good, it's fine. So I'm able to read that, so I'm using the device as a gateway. And now what happens if you need to read real values? Okay, so let's connect to the device. So I'm going to use the same IP address, but what I need to do is to change this request ID, because this one is going to be different, or needs to be different, which is the one that says here on the ID 102. Then we try to read all this information. 102, 102, 102. In this case, this the init request doesn't need to do anything because we are not going to set anything. So here in the channels, we just need to add the this one's going to be the set BRT11, I believe it is there, I don't remember. So add channel is going to be the battery. Need to add more information because we're going to try to read more things here. Then I'm going to read the I believe it is this one over here, RSSI. Okay. So one of the things that we need to check is if the address is the one that we need to read. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to do is to use the same address just in case and see what happens. So we need to read this one. 3316, 3316, and I need to read 2 words because it's not real. Okay, here I'm going to read multiple words, and again here I'm going to read all this in one go. So start 4001. I'm going to read how many? 6 multiplied by 2, 12, because they are all reals. And this one, again, there are 2, and the offset is going to be 3114. So this is like a try and error in this case, because I need to check if the information I'm reading is in the same place. Okay. So we need to apply this. In order to check this out, what I'm going to do is to go again here, and here you can see in the input register I have the channel name that I created. So here what I'm going to do is to specify like battery low, battery high, because we need to combine this in our word, okay, in a real format. So here I apply that. Going to create a POU. This is going to be reading set assign panel server. Okay, so what I need to do now is to put the battery low into a memory word, okay, NW 100. And then I'm going to use the same for the high in the next one. H. And then what I'm going to do here, set panel server, I'm going to read the battery low, battery high, and I'm going to read the percentage NW 100, 101, and the MF 100, because this one is the one that we need to use in our system. So what we're going to do now is the memory words, go to MF 100. Battery. I may have used this before. Let's say this. No. Okay. So I'm going to use this one. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is to download this and see what happens. Maybe the other thing that we need to do is to swap the order for low to high. Okay, that's something that we need to play with. So let's go now to the panel server. Doesn't seem to be reading anything. Okay. It's not okay. So what we can see now is the status of the IO scanner. So we go to, let's see if the other one's reading information. No, it's not reading information. Okay, no panic. just need to check the IS scanner option. IS scanner. SW 212. 212. W 212. Seems to be reading the info correctly. Let's see now if we go to the system bits. I just gonna this 112. Let's see if we can reset this. Okay. So what I'm going to try now is to change the address because I believe we have an issue there. Okay. I need to try it. So I'm going to subtract 1 to all this information. Because I believe that may be the issue. I believe. Okay. As you can see, I have never tried with the panel server. Using the other device. But you saw on the sensor from the other range connected to model serial, it was straight away. So we need to check on this one what's going on. Yeah, I need to subtract 1. Now it's reading everything. So I believe it was an issue there on the addresses. So I need to subtract 1. These are the things that we need to check. Okay. So here you can see I'm reading something. And here you see that the value is totally different weird thing. So what we need to do here, we just need to swap the low and high part. So what we can do is to probably swap this H and this one for the L. So I'm swapping this. You see 2.8, and 2.8 is the information I can see that here. So that's how we need to do. So if we have more things, then yes, we have more things. So let's use the yeah. So this is going to be the temperature, I believe. The first one will be the temperature. Yeah. Temperature. L. Temperature H. The next 2, nothing. The next 4, nothing. 4, and this one's going to be humidity low. Humidity high. And then this one's going to be the RSI low and the RSI H. Apply. So now we need to do something similar to this. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, Ctrl V, and Ctrl V. So this is going to be 2, 3, and here it's going to be, instead of battery, it's going to be temp. It's just organizing the data, and the other one is going to be humidity H, humidity L. This is going to be 3, 4, 6, 7. Here is going to be the other value, RSSI, the RSSI low. So now panel server here, what I'm going to do is to read the percentage MF 100, the 2, 4, and 6. I'm going to specify the names there, so it's going to be much easier to understand. So this is going to be the battery, this is going to be the temperature, this is going to be the humidity. Note that I leave something in the middle, okay, because we need 2 spaces for this. And this one's RSI. Apply. If we go to panel server, this one, we should be able to see the same information, just to validate with you that I'm not lying to you. Okay, so now, yeah, okay. There we go. I'm reading something here. Now on this one, we need to multiply by 100 because it's percentage. Okay, so what we can do is to probably read just move this just a little bit, and here we just need to use the percentage MF 110 multiply by 100 and move this to the MF 104. Okay, and in theory now it should be working fine as this one. Just to show you that I'm reading the same information. Okay, it's working fine. So the important thing here for you is to know the register, and then everything is perfect, fine. If not, then we just need to check on the addresses. Now, as you saw on the one, I need to use directly the same address. The other one, I was forced to subtract one to the address. Okay, so it's important to check the name, assign the right information, check the unit ID, which is the device slave address. Okay, if you have problems, there is another video for iOS scanner for troubleshooting, so I recommend you to take a look. So this is how we can read information using a gateway, okay, from that is connected to multiple serial devices, and then transfer information on Ethernet. Okay, in this case, models TCP. One gateway that we have in Schneider is this one, the panel server. That is this one over here. Okay, it's quite nice. You have the 2 Ethernet ports. Over there, you have the possibility to use also the Wi-Fi. Okay, this looks good. And you have the terminal port here for the mobile serial. Okay, so this is the training, part of the training for the Modicon M221 to read information from the slave devices using a gateway. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.